Sorry, but we just get adjusted.
Good.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I just thought that we should get together and I could share some news of things that are happening here in the home. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is give you an update on our mandatory vaccinations. So as you know, the home had developed a mandatory vaccine policy prior to the ministry's announcement, and our date for staff, volunteers, students, and support workers was they had to be fully vaccinated with the definition of 2 weeks after your second dose by November 15th. And that was also, I believe, the date that the ministry had as well. However, the ministry last week sent out an announcement saying that they had extended the date to the 13th of December based on new scientific information. So I am pleased to say that all the staff that are now working here at the home are fully vaccinated. Anyone who was hired as of October 1st had to be fully vaccinated. So we did end up losing one full-time PSW and one part-time dietary aide who chose not to be vaccinated. Hopefully when all this is over, they'll come back and join us. The one thing that's been difficult for us is the fact that the government has mandated long-term care homes only allow staff, students, volunteers, and support workers who are fully vaccinated into the home, while lifting that requirement at the hospitals, which means that people who might come and work for us but don't want to be vaccinated or find it easier can go other places where there is not that requirement. Good news, staff and essential caregivers can and have been booking their third shot. So if you need a letter saying you're an essential caregiver, just send me an email and I'll send that off to you. We've had a number of people requesting that, and I believe they've gone to get their booster shot. We have 10 residents who have not had their third shot. We're waiting until the beginning of December, by which time 10 of these residents who have not had their shots will all be eligible. And we're asking the District Health Council, are they coming in or do we have to bus them to get their shots? So we'll let you know once we know what's going on. I know there's been a lot of media attention on long-term care over the last few weeks. One reason being the funding, which is great news. It means we're able to hire more direct care staff, and that means hiring more PSWs, RPNs, and RNs. The problem is there aren't enough human resources. We are having difficulty filling the shifts that we already have, and now that we're increasing staffing, is just making it all that more challenging. We are using more agency staff. It seems that it seems to be the way that perhaps it's going to go in the future. People can go to an agency and earn more per hour, and then they get placed in the various homes. So the initial change for this home with the funding that we've received is that we've increased direct care to residents by 25 hours a day. So that covers 1 RPN on nights, 1 RN on evenings, and 10 hours of additional PSW care per day. So what we've done is created some full-time positions, taking the part-timers and offering them full-time work. And hopefully that way they stay with us. We're going to review this in the new year and see how it's working. I believe that we have enough money to increase the staffing even further, but we would like to see sort of what kind of hit we take when we're hiring agency staffing, because obviously that costs us a lot more. We are looking at the job routines of people to ensure that we're capitalizing on the time that they're spending with the residents, that it's of value to the residents. So that's going to take us a bit of time as we more staff on, then we're able to provide more direct care. And we would like your feedback. We know that you're often in the home and you see what the needs are. You have ideas on how we could improve care. Please share that with us. Just to let you know that Jen Pilon will be emailing you the annual family survey. We ask that you take the time to complete it and return it to us. I know that families are thinking about making Christmas plans, so I just want to remind you of the restrictions that the ministry has put in place, and they have not changed as of yet. We don't know what will happen tomorrow, so as things change, we would let you know. So we would just say that if you're planning to take your family member home overnight, please be aware that when they return, they will be placed in isolation pending a negative PCR test. I planned to take my dad home, and then when the girls reminded me that he'd have to go into isolation when he came back, I made the decision, well, we'll just take him for the day, bring him home, and then take him the next day. So as I said, you can take the resident out for a day, bring them home, and they don't have to go into isolation. If you plan to do this, we would ask you to be mindful of the compromised situation that our residents are in and try to keep the gathering small so that the residents don't have a lot of exposure when they're out in the community. And that's for your loved one's sake and all of our residents' sake. If these rules change, we will let you know. I do plan to have another family meeting in December so that we can keep you informed as to what's going on. And just a reminder, and I will probably bring this up more in December, if your family or your loved one gets new clothing or articles like that, please give them to the screener or to Chris Burns, who will ensure that they go down to laundry for labeling. Because what happens is the residents get a new outfit or something nice. If it doesn't get down to be labeled in laundry and then it ends up in the wash, then we don't know to who it belongs to. So unfortunately, we're still not able to gather for our regular Christmas parties that we always have. So we have planned a couple of dates for the residents, and we plan to put up our big tree this year, and we're asking staff if they want to form a choir, and we'll do the 2 cohorts. So we'll do Care Center 1 one day. We'll bring them to the lobby, have a sing-along, a sing-song, and have some goodies. And then the next day, we'll have Care Center 2, and we'll do the same thing. So hopefully by next year, we'll all be able to get together. But that's the plan as of now. And now I just want to talk a little bit about our plans for 2022. We have been given some minor capital money from the government. It was supposed to be used for air conditioning, which we don't need to use this money for that, as we received our $3 million to completely revamp the whole HVAC system. So we're looking at ways to spend it, and it has to be in relation to infection control. So we're thinking of purchasing some new furniture for the TV areas. We're also looking at getting more blinds on the windows. In terms of the new HVAC system, we're going to go out to tender in February. Work may start as soon as April, but like everything else affected by COVID, we're being told that the equipment that we need could be on back order. It's more expensive than it used to be. So everything will progress as everything else has during COVID. We also hope to get back to doing our memorial tree project in the spring as well. I wanted to share with you some staffing, just so to keep you up to date. So we hired 3 new resident care assistants, and they'll be with us until January. These are COVID-funded positions. So the resident care assistant is not allowed to provide care to the resident as they're not trained, but they do portering, they put away laundry, they can do things like that. And they're all working out really well. We had 4 new PSWs hired, 3 new PSW grads. So we're asking our staff and everybody to be kind to these people as they're new and getting used to working in long-term care. We also have a 3rd-year BSN student working as a PSW. We have a PSW interview this week, and we're also interviewing 2 RPNs. We have college students. One's an RPN student, and the other is a PSW student. The administrators in Barrie got together and worked with on the Ontario Health Team and RVH, and we've created what's called a MESS team. And these are people who come to us from an agency. If a home was to go into outbreak and needed assistance, these people that we are using would be a priority to go over and help the home that is in crisis. So what we're trying to do is plan for somebody having a major outbreak and not getting into the situation where they had to bring in the army or bring in the hospital. So this has been an ongoing project with the administrators, and it seems to be working well. We have, at the moment, 2 people working for us that are on the MESS team. So they come here and they fill in the regular shifts. So there's 2 PSWs. We did have an RPN, but she just quit. So we'll continue to work with the agencies that are helping us find these MESS team people, and also find people for our lines and the openings that we have. So we also use staff from Plan A agency and from Horizons. We have 1 PSW that's working for us as needed, and Plan A also part of the MESS, and also Home and Community Care. They're part of the MESS team as well. So that's kind of the status of the nursing department. We are kind of desperate in dietary. We've had 1 full-time, part-time, full-time cook leave. We have 1 cook who's on a medical leave, and we're desperate. If you know of anybody who's looking for a job in way of cooking, we need them. Also dietary aides and housekeeping aides. Those are areas of great concern. We're reaching out to agencies who may have dietary or housekeeping aides that we can make use of as well. Just a reminder, when you come in to visit, the ministry requires us to do random testing weekly. So we have to pick a day, and then we have to pick a number. So for example, tomorrow is our random testing day. Every 7th person that comes into the building will be tested. Last week, it was a Friday, and it's every 5 people who come in. And one day we did 15, but then we found out through the day that we only had 3 people tested. So we have to keep our numbers low, but that is a requirement of the ministry. So you might, even though you've been doubly vaccinated, you might be that random person, and you are expected to follow the protocols that have been put in place by the ministry that we must follow. So really, that's everything I think I have to say today. I don't know if there are any questions, but I certainly will take them. I know there were concerns about the Christmas time, about taking people out. I hope I've made that clear as to how things work for now. Whether that will change, I do not know. So I don't know, Derek, if there are any questions.
Just regards from Patricia Campbell.
Thank you for being on the call, everyone. Appreciate it.
You're caught up, so that's live.
Okay, so doesn't seem to be any questions as of yet. I don't know how many people are on the call. If you're watching this later, and you have a question for me, please feel free to email me. I will get back to you as soon as I can, hopefully with an answer. Give another minute, and then we'll end the session.
If you remind them, they can review the policy again because it'll be publicly posted on that channel that they're watching on now. They can go back and review what you just said.
Yeah, I just said that, didn't I? The policy.
So they can watch the video again.
Yes, if you can also watch the video again, but if you can't see it live, if you're not seeing it now and you see it later and you have questions, send them to me for sure.
And you're caught up.
Yeah. So I'll say goodbye. Stay safe. See you in December, if not before. Thank you.